folks, welcome to the Pathfinder School. I'm Dave Canterbury. What I thought we'd do today is I've got my stainless steel bush pot, and what I've done is I have made a canvas, traditional canvas style sack for my bush pot. And this is made so that, number one, it keeps, if you've got contents inside your bush pot, it's going to keep that lid or anything like that from coming off and your contents from bouncing around your pack. But it also adds to noise reduction and things like this, if this thing's banging around inside your pack. So traditionally, a lot of times pots and things like that were carried in canvas type bags and containers. We're going to make this canvas bag today out of just an old piece of canvas cloth that I had laying around here at the Pathfinder School. It's got some dry rot areas in it, but some of the areas in the canvas are still good. So we're going to multi-purpose that canvas and use it to make this bag today. Stay with me, guys. Okay, so all I've done to pattern this out is I've taken an old torn up tarp here. I took my bush pot and laid it over top of it and drew a circle with a marker. I cut about a ½ inch around that to give myself plenty of room to seam this thing. Then I just took another piece of canvas and I laid my bush pot down on top of it like this to judge the height. I gave myself plenty of extra room at the top for the drawstring and things like that. And then basically I cut it and just wrapped it around it to see where I was going to end up. And when I got around it with some room, figuring I'm going to have a pleat in here, I cut it off. Pretty simple stuff, nothing scientific about it. Now, I'm going to turn this thing inside out when I'm done. So if I want this to be on the inside, it has to be on the outside now. And if I have any marks on this canvas, which I've got a couple here, same thing, I want this on the outside now. Now all we're really going to do is we're going to start to sew this straight to here. And we're just going to use our sail needle for that and some cotton thread. Just making a traditional piece of gear. You know, you're going to wear tarps out over time. They're not going to last forever. Again, the advantage of these sail needles is that they're made to go through this kind of canvas stuff. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and go through this twice to get my first stitch and tie that off. And keeping myself with about an 1/8 of an inch seam there. And then I'll just have to move this fabric along just like this and it'll start to turn, which is going to give it that circular look when it's done. I'll spare you a ½ an hour of stitching here and get back with you when I get to the next step, which means getting all the way around this first circle. Alright, so when I get to the point where I've gone all the way around that circle, I've got an overlap right here, and this is where I'm going to sew this up the side. Again, I didn't really make any special patterns here or anything like that. I just drew this thing out real quick, down and dirty, and I think that's the way the old timers did it. I don't think they sat around with a bunch of patterns. I think they just whipped this stuff out as best they could. Now all we want is just a running stitch right at this seam to the top. And then we'll talk about where to go from there when we get to that point. Okay, when we get up here to the top, remember we're going to put a fold right here for a drawstring. So we got to leave ourselves room for that fold. Now we really need to see if our bush pot's going to fit in here. So let's just kind of leave. We won't turn it inside out or right side out. No, yeah, we got plenty of room in there. That's good. And that's how our pot's going to fit in there. And then the drawstring will pull it down tight over the top of our pot. So it should fit in there just about right, it looks like, even with an on-the-fly job. Okay. Now we got to get this fold right here sewn all the way around so that we can put a drawstring across the top of this. I put a piece of cordage in to draw that bag down. Again, I'm going to spare you the sewing. I'll let you know when we get around to this side so we can finish up the bag. So we're about halfway around little more than halfway around the top of this thing now, coming around this back side. So it's coming along really good. I left myself a little bit of cuff here because sometimes this canvas has a tendency to unravel over time. You see how that comes off right there. So I want to give myself a little cuff right there, and I'm going to put my cord up in this sleeve right here in just a few minutes. Okay, so now that we've got this thing sewn all the way around, before I finish up my stitchings here, I'm going to go ahead and get my cordage in here and in here and get it laced all the way around. Okay, so we're just going to put a piece of small diameter hemp cordage through here. The easiest way for us to do that is going to be to chase it through there with a piece of wire. So we'll just take a piece of wire that we can thread this hemp cordage through like this and feed it through here, just like this. This can be a pain in the butt, especially with this treated canvas, because it's not real pliable, bunched up like this. You just got to kind of work it around. You just kind of pull it like that. Work it and pull it. Alright, there we go. That got her. Now we can just pull our cord through here. Straighten that dude out. Make sure we got enough room on both sides here. And now we can kind of think about finishing this thing up, because we've got our thread still on here with the needle still attached to it. Now what we want to look at on here is, where do we want to finish our sewing at? Because we've got this sewn up to right here. I think our best bet is to come one more time right through here. Just like that. Okay, we'll get our wire out of our way for a minute. Get our needle and thread out of our way. Turn this thing inside out. Well, we still got plenty of long rope on here. I should say right side out. The way it's supposed to be when we're done. Which is like this. Got a couple tags right here where I did a splice. Alright, now, going to give ourselves a little bit of slack here in this rope. Make sure we got plenty to play with. Let's see what our bush pot looks like inside of here. Quick. Now we got all the slack drawn up. Alright. That's a good fit, I think. Alright, and then we can just draw it down, just like this. And this will all loosen up as we go, but remember this canvas is really, really stiff. So you're not going to be able to draw this canvas down as tight as you could some things because of its inherent stiffness. You've got it gathered up pretty good right there. That's probably as good as you're going to gather it. We'll come down here to the end of this thing and cut this off, and we'll just tie a figure-8 knot in this real quick so that those lines can't pull out. Then when we secure it, we can just tie a quick release knot in it like that. Secure it down and put it in our pack. Tuck these down inside. That's pretty good. I've got no problem with that. Now we got to open it up. It should open right up, no problem. Bush pot should come out of there fairly easily. Not a big bunch of hang-ups, I wouldn't think. It's a pretty good fit. Nice and tight, it's not too loose. Turned out pretty good. All right, folks, well, I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I appreciate you joining me today. Just a quick little project, making a canvas bag for our bush pot, our stainless steel bush pot. This same bag would fit just about all the bush pots I use are about 2 quarts. I've got ones made out of tin, I've got ones made out of stainless steel, I've got ones that are made out of aluminum. So this bag can be used for all of the different pots that I carry, depending on what I'm carrying on that particular trek or that particular camping trip, whatever the case may be. This is going to work out just dandy fine. Real simple project, probably took me 45 minutes total from start to finish. I appreciate your views, I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for me, for my school, for our family, for our business, and for all of the people affiliated with the Pathfinder School and Self-Reliance Outfitters. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.